This is showing the whole construction of them. You know, and he's the senior technician, you see, you can tell because he's balding like me. So yes, book club again. This is worth a look at. This is Style Auto, which is a great publication, Italian one, really about style and design, all sorts of cars, but obviously with Italian focus. They do it in Italian and English. The English editions are more difficult to find. But this gives us an idea. So we've got a buck here that we're working on, old tree stump, mallet, you know, hand-made in aluminium with a bit of panel work, and you can see the hammer marks in it here. So this is all done by hand, which is how the Italians do things. Hammer them out, not use an English wheel, you know. It's done this way, or a wheeling machine, as my friend would correct me and say. But anyway, so yeah, you see the hammer marks in it. You see, so that's the Italian way of doing things. And before we get too far into here, there's just a lovely little sort of picture here of a Lamborghini Miura and our Dino Coupe. So you know, this is a Bertone thing. They were both Bertone designs. It shows how important the Dino Coupe was alongside the Lamborghini Miura. You know, they felt they were a very important piece of design. They were very proud of them. It goes back to what I'm saying, the might of Fiat. You know, building a flagship car for Fiat was a real boon. They probably made good money on them as well, because they'd have done a lot more of them than Lamborghinis. As I say, and a more modern way of building things. So, which going on to that, this copy has got a good bit on Pininfarina. So we got some great stuff on Pininfarina, talking about making stuff and how things are designed in here. So yeah, there's some of our shots from the front. So from front of the book, showing all the hammers and, you know, and so on, mallets and so on that would be used on a rack, and that's that picture there of that thing they're working on. There's a clay model of it. So it's just talking about design. Now we're on to the Fiat 124, which is Pininfarina, which is the same as our Dino Spiders, isn't it? So here we are, and there we go. We start to recognise things here. Now that's Dino Spider, I'd have said. Looks a lot like the front end of a Dino Spider. And these are the great big presses they'd be using to push these panels out. Various tooling, various stuff they're doing whilst they're pressing them out, working on them, milling machines and so on. But yeah, here you go. So these are the presses they'd work with. So it's these machines, and you can see the size of this machine, and that's what presses the panels out. So they put dies in here that are appropriate, and they put your panels in there and press them out. So you can see the size of it and how many they've got. So it's a big operation. And up here you'll see stacks of panels that have been made. So if we go through here, so here you go, sort of a shot from above showing the sort of enormity of it, and they're feeding a panel in and pressing it out. So you've got this wide angle shot here. And there we go, so that you can see here. So here we get, here's our press, you know, the male and the female die, and there's the panel in it. So you can see it's this huge press comes down, presses it out. So it's not like that hammer form stuff, which is exactly how these Maseratis are made. This is how these Fiats are made. You know, so there's racks of panels that have come out of the tooling, all stacked up, waiting to be, you know, waiting to move on to productionisation and actually be fitted to a car, as it were. Well, turned into a car once you assemble them. So lovely arty shots of this. You know, I mean, you can see it's a wonderful magazine. You know, they've got the eye. The guy who went and took these photos. He's trying to get these pretty pictures rather than just showing what's done. So yeah, I think these are 124 Spiders, all stacked up. And you can see here different body shells waiting to be clothed. Now this is what we call, you know, this is sort of like the base, the platform, which is what we're talking about. This is what, you know, you'd get with the Dino Coupe and the Spider. You'd have this platform, and then you could assemble it from there. So yeah, so here we go, you're seeing the 124 Spider going together, wings on it and so on. There you go, Dino Spiders being assembled. So there we are, 124 Dino Spiders. So yeah, this is Pininfarina. That's them assembling them. This is an Alpha Duetto, or the slightly later version. Again, a Pininfarina product. 124 Spider, Pininfarina. They're having some sort of paint or dipping process done. The Ferrari, I forget which model that is. 365 or something. GTB, I think, or GTC. Anyway, they're beautiful cars. I don't remember exactly what they are because I'm never going to have one. But there we are, beautiful things. But yeah, it's, again, Pininfarina product. So it's all going through. Now we get into a little bit more interesting here. So here we are, right. So here's a Dino Spider, and it's in this Alpha 3D scanning tool. Now look, hammer marks all over it. Now how come that's got hammer marks on it when we've just been seeing how they press the panels out? That's because that's a pre-production car. So that's handmade, and that's why it's got all them hammer marks in it. So that's a handmade pre-production body shell, and they're using this 3D scanning to measure it all, with the intention of making press tooling. I think that's exactly what they're doing. You see he's moving the little pointer along, and all this calibration will be measuring it, and it'll all be stored in that computer on a load of old ticker tape probably, or magnetic tape. And there's your front end of a Dino Spider. That's where your horns go. That's where your you know, hinge for the bonnet goes. Obviously headlights go in here. You know, it's very familiar. It is Dino stuff. Oh look, there you go. There's all the ticker tape coming out of the machine. Like you get in them old movies. Anyway, yeah, so there we are, and there we go. He's got a French curve, and he's just drawing one out, sort of thing. But you can see all this great big thing. You know, this must scan it as well. So I think he's drawn it by hand, and then this scanner will you know, work on it. But anyway, that's enough of that. But that's a good one, and that leads on to this one, which is the one, you know, you should get one of these, even if you have a Spider. If you want to know how these things are made, it tells you how they're made. So we go right into the construction of the Dino Coupe. Now, I'm not going to go through every page in this because you know, it's too boring. Lovely colour shots of the colours. There's our Positano yellow, which, as I say, I like Positano yellow. There he is being applied, you know. When that chap painted that door, he could well have done, couldn't he? Is that, yeah, anyway. Enough jokes about Uncle Giuseppe. That's obviously, I don't know who that is, but anyway. There's someone else working on it. So you can see him going down the production line here. But right, let's start moving backwards here. Shows him being dipped and so on. And let's move backwards to what we're really dealing with. But here you can see some of the handmade sort of features of it. He's just hand flattening the edge of the bonnet to get it to sit right, getting his gaps right, that sort of thing. Here you are, hanging a door on. So there's our door frame that we're talking about. And here we are. So here they are, that's your door frame. And you can see these clamps, you see, and then they're able to assemble it and put a door skin on it, and that's them skinning what looks like a bonnet there, I'd have said. And I'm not entirely sure what that is, and a coupe in the background. But that's how we make, you know, that's what we've got. We've got a frame like that, you'll see in the pictures, and then they're putting a skin on it. But yeah, so, and we go back into here. So, right, let's get back to the actual construction of it. Let's get back to the beginning of it. So, because we are talking about this thing that I'm calling a platform. So there's your platform, and this is showing how it goes through the stages of construction. This is all your A post and B post, then going on to there to give you the beginnings of this, and then the roof sections and so on. You know, you see how that's a different section. That's your windscreen area, and so on. So it shows how they go, and it shows how these bits. You see, you get that shape. See, all this, apart from that rear floor pan there, is Spider. So behind there's Spider, in front of there's Spider, it's just that floor pan. Remember I was saying it's shortened? So this is what I mean. If you deconstructed a coupe, you'd have a Spider floor pan or platform, and if you shortened it, you could put the Dino Spider floor pans in there, and you'd have a Dino Spider clip that you could then build one from or rebuild one from. And it's when they put these on that it all becomes different. You know, these sort of wings that go on the area of the engine bay area to take the wings, which is totally different to the Spider. And the Spider has a different sort of front treatment here, and this is completely different. This front cross member on the Spider. Remember we looked at one and it looked a bit weak, and I was saying about it before. Well, that's sort of what it is. So there you go. It goes into construction. There's our doors going and being assembled. You know, this is how the sort of thing is assembled as a clip. So the whole front end goes on in one go, gets clipped on over, you know, and attached to it. And you see here, like, you've got a sort of an aperture piece that goes in to make sure they get the door gaps all right, and so it all goes assembled right. So it's showing it, and there's your rear clip. So how the rear goes on. So you've got your outer sills on, you've got your B post, A post, and then you've got a rear clip that will go on there, and then you've got the front clip that will go on there. So they literally walk it on and then pull the bottoms of the wings over and do it. And we saw how that how that joins there and how it joined there when we were looking at this, weren't we, in the last video. So if we go back to that, so that's just drawings of it. And here we get into some proper pictures. So there we go, that's our platform. And that's those rear floor pans that I keep wobbling on about, you know, how they're deeper. And that's because you've got passengers in the back and it gives them somewhere to put their feet, you know. And then you see the shape of them when we were looking underneath last week. You see that's that shape we were looking at, and I was showing them spider floors. So, and you can see this hasn't got the wings on it, the extensions to attach the actual outer ring. So all this lines up with those earlier pictures, which is, you say, it's a brilliant thing. You know, it really is a useful thing. And there we see how they construct it with all these sort of over square clamps that will clamp it together. So, and there's a spot welder where they would use it to put the spot welds in and so on. So you get the picture, and that's that scuttle area, windscreen surround. You can see what I mean, you can see what I'm getting at here. This is showing the whole construction of them. So from this you can start to understand, look, there's a lovely shot of our platform, and they're putting these wing pieces on here so they can put the outer wings on, you know, because this is how it starts to build up. So that is, as I say, that's your bit that's different on the coupe. The rest of that is all spider, all this lot. So you can understand now how they make this, and then you can say, okay, well they would have done something similar with the spider, but it would be a shorter platform, and that's your inner sill area, that curved thing, because of course that's completely different. How they treat that as they build outwards on a coupe or a spider, but that shape is the same. So yeah, it just, you know, just shows you what it is. You know, that's why the boot floors are the same. And the battery trays I think are different. On the coupe, I think they have a bigger battery tray. Certainly on the 2.4 coupe. I can't remember on the 2 litre coupe if it's different or not. But I suppose there's going to be. We might have to work out these panels how, you know, I can't remember about exactly how they differ, where that is. But I mean, does it come in with a battery tray? We don't know, do we? I don't know that for sure. That might be, you know, I don't know if it looks like it's got it on there. So yeah, I assume it does come in with it. But yeah, that's it. It's more of the same really, just more of it, you know, showing the front, that's the rear clip, isn't it? So showing how that would join onto the sills and so on. So invaluable. You know, this is the sort of information you want. This is a wonderful book, and you can start to understand it. You know how things go together. So that's your front end. So that's the lower front wing. That's where it goes around that jacking point. That's all your headlight stuff. Headlights is different on a 2.4, so this area is different as well. With this inbuilt plenum is slightly different. So this is a 2 litre. This is all about the 2 litre, and this is probably what we're calling a Series 1, isn't it? So here you go. You see again, that's the front clip. You can see that's a whole unit, and there's the rear clip as a whole unit. So you can see the whole of that section in one piece, walked on, clipped on, clamped on, then spot welded. Same with the back. So that's how they make them. And yeah, so it goes into front end assembly, showing it. You know, it goes into all of it. So yeah, another wonderful picture of it, showing what we're talking about. So this is a part assembled thing, but you can see the sill areas where they're different. That's your sort of boxing plate area, and that's your outer sill area. And say incorporating the A post and the B post. And then this is one whole piece here, and a whole piece at the front here, and then the roof, you know, add that on, which is where you get this lead work through here sometimes, where they join them just to, you know, to hide it, and so on. So yeah, I think that's, you know, you'd have to get a copy of it yourself to have a proper look at it, you know, because this isn't going to do it justice, is it? But you see, there's them masking that piece off. It's like, well, not masking it. This is a bit of tooling to enable them to make sure it all lines up. So that's like a datum. You know, to fit that, you know, it shows it here. So that make sure it all lines up before they're welded on. Because, you know, if you had that too far apart, you're going to need bigger doors, aren't you? So, you know, and he's the senior technician, you see. You can tell because he's balding like me. That's how you tell I'm senior technician. You see, it's either that or the stress of working on these things for so long, isn't it? But yeah, anyway, See, yeah. This is it. And then we got the pretty colours. And our lovely grille. And there we go, and putting our interior back together again. And what do I say to people about how these seats should be fitted? That's the release catch to lift the seat forward to let the passengers in, and the thing to do your back is on the outside, isn't it? And that's it, that's a factory shot. So they are that way round. Because if you have that adjuster on the inside, it interferes with this console. Now I think it's the same on the Spider, but I might be, someone might correct me on that, but I think it is the same. But certainly on the Coupe, it needs to be that way round, which seems daft to have to reach over the seat to then do that, to then enable someone to get in the back. But there you go. If you're a gentleman, you'll lean over and do it for the, for your passenger, won't you? So it's what you have to do. This goes with it. What do we say? That's it, isn't it? That's what it's all about. Dino. Enough nonsense, I'll say good night.